This is a reading from Modern Saints by Anne Ball. 22. Blessed Maria Droste zu Vischering. Blessed Maria Droste zu Vischering, RGS, born 1863, died 1899, born in Germany, died in Portugal at the age of 35. For Maria Droste zu Vischering, love of the Sacred Heart of Jesus was not a vague emotion or a sentimental devotion. For her, it was the reality she lived, and she desired to lead the world to this source of love. 3 years before her death, in an extraordinary divine communication, our Lord made known to her that he wanted the entire universe consecrated to his heart, and that she was to request this of the Holy Father. In obedience to his divine will, she petitioned Pope Leo XIII for this in June of 1898. On our Lord's further insistence, she again petitioned the Pope in January of 1899. My mission on earth will be completed as soon as the consecration is accomplished, she confided to her confessor. Maria was born September the 8th, 1863, in Münster, Germany. Her father was Count Clement Droste zu Vischering, and her mother, the Countess Helen von Galen Droste zu Vischering. Both were descended from a long line of devoted Catholics noted for their heroic loyalty to the Church. One of 7 children, Maria had a will of iron. In spite of her somewhat explosive character, Maria had a sensitive heart and was generous with a deep feeling for others. Maria was raised amid wealth at the family home, Darfield Castle. There was an enormous contrast between the elegant furnishings of her study and rooms at Darfield and the stark simplicity of the room she later occupied in the convent of the Good Shepherd in Munster. Willingly, she exchanged her early life of luxury for a life of simplicity and hard work. At 15, Maria began attending the boarding school of the Sisters of the Sacred Heart in Riedenburg. Later, she said of her time there, I began to understand that the love of the Sacred Heart without a spirit of sacrifice is but empty illusion. From the time of her confirmation at the age of 12, Maria had felt drawn to the religious life. After leaving school in 1881, poor health prevented her entering any religious order. Instead, she privately made a vow of virginity and lived a life of solitude and prayer at home with her family. In 1888, her health improved and she began to think seriously of joining a religious order. Shortly after, she befriended an unhappy girl in a nearby hospital. Maria felt called to the Sisters of Charity of the Good Shepherd. She later wrote, "This thought, you must enter the Good Shepherd, was so clear to me that from this moment I was convinced and determined." The primary apostolate of the Good Shepherd Sisters is directed toward the care and help of those who, because of the character, family, social, or behavioral problems, need special care and love. Their work is one of prevention, rehabilitation, and protection. They attempt to give each of those they serve a greater sense of self-worth and dignity as a child of God. Maria began her novitiate on January 10, 1889, and received the name of Maria of the Divine Heart. She made her perpetual vows on January 29, 1891, at the age of 27. As a youth worker, Sister Maria's firmness combined with kindness and a spirit of happiness helped her with the girls. She attributed all her success in her apostolate to the heart of our Lord. Only the heart of Jesus is responsible for the success I always had with the girls. And often, when I was confronted with an especially desperate case, he would level all difficulties. When you are appealing to his divine heart for a soul, he will never refuse you, although sometimes he demands much prayer, sacrifice, and suffering. In 1894, Sister Maria was assigned to Lisbon, Portugal. She was homesick and missed those in Munster, but from her notes of that time we realize that she went to God for consolation. Lord, I have left all, yes, all, that I might love you until the last moment of my life, and that with all my energy I might spread devotion to your Sacred Heart. Sister Maria was appointed superior of the convent of the Good Shepherd in Oporto, Portugal, in May of 1894. This convent was in drastic need of good and capable administration. Without thinking of herself, Maria prayed, trusted, and triumphed. A Benedictine abbot who knew her recalls, I was astonished by the leadership exercised by this very young superior. Her wise administration made the convent the center of spiritual radiation. In 1896, barely 2 years after coming to Portugal, Sister Maria became afflicted with a spinal disease that brought with it tremendous pain and progressive paralysis. In spite of her pain, she continued her administrative work as superior. It was at this time that our Lord made known to her his wish for the consecration of the world to his Sacred Heart and directed her appeals to Pope Leo XIII. In May of 1899, Pope Leo wrote the encyclical Annum Sacrum, which contained the decree for the consecration of the world. Sister Maria had predicted that she would die as soon as the consecration was accomplished. On June 8th, 1899, 2 copies of the encyclical were personally delivered to her, and at 3:05 p.m., she quietly gave back her soul to God. On June 11th, 1899, Pope Leo XIII consecrated the entire human race to the heart of Jesus. The informative process for the cause of Maria Droste zu Vischering was opened in 1921, and the apostolic process was begun in 1942. At the ritual exhumation in 1944, Maria's body was found to be intact. She was declared venerable in 1964 and beatified by Pope Paul VI in 1975. This is a picture of her. And that. I'll read the caption. Above, Blessed Maria Droste zu Vischering had several visions in which our Lord requested and insisted that she petition the Pope to consecrate the entire universe to his Sacred Heart. This she did. Sister Maria's body was found incorrupt 45 years after her death. Opposite, Maria at 4 years of age and at 14, had a will of iron and an explosive temper, but also a sensitive and generous heart. She grew up amid luxury at her family home, Darfield Castle.